The galaxy had long been at peace, its many species coexisting under the shared belief that no one could threaten their control. The alien species, with their advanced technology and powerful warships, had become the rulers of the stars. Often looked down upon Earth, a young and relatively unknown species, too small and too weak to ever pose a real threat. The human race had spent centuries confined to their home planet, never venturing far beyond the boundaries of their solar system. But that was about to change. One day, a strange signal was detected at the edges of the galaxy. It was faint at first, but it was there. At first, the alien scientists and military leaders assumed it was just another piece of space debris, or perhaps a malfunctioning ship. The signal was so faint, they thought nothing of it. But it did not fade. It grew, stronger, and it had a strange, almost calculated pattern. The Galactic Council, the group of the most powerful alien species in the universe, ordered an investigation. A fleet of ships was dispatched to track down the source of the signal. They traveled to the outskirts of the galaxy, where stars were fewer and darkness filled the void between them. It was there on the edge of known space that they saw it. The human warship was unlike anything they had ever encountered. It was massive, its form sleek and sharp, gliding through space like a predator stalking its prey. The alien ships watched. From a distance, their sensors failing to comprehend the scale of the ship before them. It did not belong to any known species. It was too advanced, too powerful, and too strange. The warship's design was efficient and precise, built for combat. Its sleek black surface absorbed the light around it, making it appear as though it was part of the void itself.
No markings
adorned its exterior. No symbols or insignia to signify its allegiance. It was simply there looming in the distance. A silent warning to all who saw it. The alien fleet, initially confident in their superiority, moved closer. They thought it was just one ship. No match for their collective power. They were wrong. The human warships seemed to come alive as the alien ships closed in. A deep hum resonated from its core, vibrating the space around it. It was then that they realized something was terribly wrong. Warship wasn't merely waiting for them, it was preparing for battle. Without warning, a pulse of energy shot out from the warship. The alien fleet tried to respond, but it was too late. Ship in the formation was instantly disabled. Its weapon systems went dark, and its engines were reduced to nothing more than a cloud of debris. The other ships attempted to flee, but the warship was fast, too fast. One by one, the alien vessels fell before its might, disabled in a flash. Of energy and precision, the alien commanders were in shock. They had underestimated the human race. They had heard the stories, the whispers of a race that once lived in chaos and war, a species that now stood on the edge of something far greater. But they never believed it. They thought the humans were still too weak, too primitive to pose a real threat. Now they knew the truth. The human warship was not just a ship. It was a symbol of a power that could not be ignored. It was a weapon of unimaginable strength, capable of destroying fleets with a single strike. The aliens had underestimated the humans, and now they would pay the price. News of the warship's arrival spread like wildfire across the galaxy. Panic set in. Leaders from the most powerful species in the galaxy called emergency meetings. They debated what to do. Some suggested attacking the humans immediately, while others proposed negotiations, fearing the consequences of further conflict. But no one knew how to approach this new, terrifying force. The humans had never shown their true strength before. And now, it was too late to turn back. The warship continued to move deeper into the galaxy, its purpose unknown, but its presence undeniable. And with each passing moment, the fear grew. The galaxy, once so secure in its belief of dominance, now found itself on the edge of a new era. One where humans, a species once considered insignificant, were now the most terrifying force in the stars. The galaxy had been thrown into chaos. Not by the strength of their enemies, but by the unexpected arrival of a force they never saw coming. And the worst part, the humans were only just beginning to show their true power. The galaxy's leaders sat in their grand council chambers, far from the place where the human warship had first appeared. Yet the fear that gripped them was palpable. They'd never felt so vulnerable. The stories they had heard about Earth had always seemed exaggerated, a people too small, too weak to challenge the mighty alien races. But the sight of the human warship had shattered that belief. This wasn't a myth, it was reality. And now, the galaxy's greatest minds were scrambling to understand how such a species could possess such terrifying power. The council room was silent, save for the hum of 1,000 nervous voices speaking in hushed tones. The alien leaders, once confident in their dominance over the stars, were now filled with dread. It was said that the human race had once fought amongst themselves, but now they had united to create something beyond the galaxy's most advanced fleets. No one knew how they had built such a warship, or where they had acquired the technology to do so. We cannot allow this to continue. One leader, a towering creature with scales of silver and green, finally spoke. If we do nothing, we risk losing control of the galaxy. But what can we do? Another leader, a being of pure energy, responded. We've never faced a threat like this before. Their warship destroyed our best fleets with a single strike. What if it's only the beginning? The leader with silver scales shook his head. I don't believe it's just a show of power. This is an invasion. The others murmured in agreement, but there was no real solution. They had always maintained their power by uniting against common enemies. But now, there was no enemy they could face that would allow them to prove their strength. Humanity, a race they had once dismissed as insignificant, had proven them wrong. One of the council members, a cold, calculating figure with an armored exterior, spoke up. Answer lies in knowing more about them. We should send a diplomatic envoy, try to learn more about this warship and its creators. There may still be a chance to negotiate a peaceful solution. The room grew quiet. The thought of negotiation, of even attempting to communicate with a species that had just shown such raw power, seemed almost laughable. But the alternatives were far worse. An all-out war with humanity would be disastrous for everyone involved. There had to be a better way. Agreed, said the leader with silver scales. We will send an envoy, but we must be prepared for any outcome. If they are as powerful as they seem, we must not allow them to push us around. The plans were made quickly. The galaxy's most powerful fleets were ordered to remain on high alert. Every alien race in the council was given instructions to gather information on humanity, while a diplomatic mission was organized to meet with Earth's leaders. The hope was that they could somehow find a way to understand this new power, without bringing the entire galaxy to war. Meanwhile, back on Earth, the humans were unaware of the fear they had instilled in the galaxy. They had no idea that the council had sent an envoy to meet with them. The warship, a powerful symbol of humanity's strength, remained in orbit above their planet, a silent guardian of Earth's interests. It was a reminder of just how far humans had come since their humble beginnings. But even as the galaxy's leaders scrambled to organize a meeting, another group had already begun to work on something else. The alien scientists, who had studied the human warship's design and technology, found themselves struggling to comprehend what they had seen. The warship seemed to defy all known laws of physics. Its weaponry was unmatched, and its energy output was unlike anything they had encountered. It was as though the humans had tapped into a power source that was beyond anything the galaxy had ever imagined. Months passed without much contact between the aliens and humanity. The diplomatic envoy had been delayed, and the galaxy's leaders began to wonder if their fears were unfounded. Perhaps the humans were not planning an invasion after all. Perhaps they were simply seeking to defend their home, or to make their presence known without threatening anyone. But deep down, the doubt remained. If the humans had built one warship like that, how many more could they have? What if the warship was just the beginning? The truth was, the galaxy didn't know what to make of humanity. The humans had shown themselves to be unpredictable. They had taken on the galaxy's greatest fleets with a single warship, and the galaxy's leaders were left wondering what other secrets the humans might be hiding. Their technology, their military, and their ambition had proven to be much more enduring than anyone could have imagined. And so, the fear lingered. It simmered beneath the surface of every meeting, every conversation among the alien species. The humans had arrived, and the galaxy would never be the same. The galaxy's fear grew with each passing day. The Council had failed to come up with a unified plan. No one could agree on what to do about humanity's terrifying warship. Some species wanted to destroy it before it could strike again. Others suggested that the humans might be seeking peace, but it was impossible to trust them after witnessing the devastating power of the ship. It was then that the diplomatic envoy finally arrived. A small fleet of alien ships, led by a powerful delegation from the most advanced species in the galaxy, approached Earth. Their mission was clear: to establish communication, to understand the humans' intentions, and to prevent further conflict. The Council hoped that by engaging with the humans, they could learn the true nature of the threat they posed, or if they were, in fact, just a misunderstood species with extraordinary power. The alien delegation entered Earth's atmosphere with a mix of nervous excitement and anxiety. No one knew what to expect from the humans. Some feared they would be met with force, while others hoped for a peaceful dialogue. The human warship, still hovering in orbit, remained silent. It had not moved. It had not shown any signs of aggression since its first display of power. But it was clear that its presence alone had altered the course of the galaxy. On Earth, the humans had prepared for the visit. Their leaders had spent weeks organizing their response to the alien fleet. They knew that their position in the galaxy had changed forever, but they were ready to show the galaxy that they had no interest in dominating it. Humanity had always been a species of survival and innovation. Now they had a chance to prove they could use their strength for peace. The alien ships landed in a secure area. The delegation was escorted to a human meeting facility. The leaders from the most powerful alien species gathered, their forms strange and varied, as they stepped off their ships. They eyed the humans warily, unsure of what to expect. But the humans remained calm, offering a respectful welcome. There were no weapons drawn, no signs of aggression. Only a cold, unsettling silence filled the air. "Welcome," said the human ambassador, a woman named Captain Lauren Taylor, who had led Earth's efforts to make contact with the alien civilizations. She spoke with a steady, commanding voice. "We know you've come to understand us. Please, make yourselves comfortable. We wish to have a peaceful discussion." The alien leaders looked at each other, exchanging nervous glances. Some of them still believed that humans were simply hiding their true intentions. Others were not so sure. They had seen the warship, and it was impossible to ignore the power it represented. Still, they had no choice but to engage. There was no going back now. "We've come to learn about your species," said one of the alien leaders, a towering figure with eyes that glowed with an eerie light. "Your warship, ... It is unlike anything we've ever seen. How is it possible that you, a species so young, have constructed such a weapon?" Captain Taylor looked around at the alien leaders and paused for a moment, gathering her thoughts. "We've worked hard to get to where we are. It wasn't easy. Our history is one of conflict, survival, and adaptation. We have learned from our mistakes, and we've grown stronger. The warship you saw is the result of years of research and development. It represents the strength of our people, our ability to survive and protect our home." One of the alien leaders, a being with translucent skin that shimmered in the light, spoke up. "But why show us this power? What is it you want from us? Your strength could easily destroy us all." Captain Taylor shook her head. "We don't want to destroy anyone, simply want to ensure our survival. The warship is a deterrent. Is meant to protect us, nothing more. We've never intended to dominate the galaxy. We just want peace." The alien leaders listened carefully, but doubt remained in their minds. The idea of peace seemed impossible when faced with such overwhelming force. They had always believed in strength and superiority. To be confronted by a species that had no interest in conquering them, but instead only in ensuring their own safety, it was a difficult concept to grasp. "What if we had shown you this power years ago?" Captain Taylor asked. "Would you have believed us then?" The question hung in the air. The aliens were silent, but the answer was clear. They had never given humanity the chance to show their potential. Instead, they had underestimated them. And now, it seemed too late for the galaxy to return to the way things were. The conversation continued late into the night, with both sides attempting to find common ground. The humans, for their part, made it clear that they had no desire to dominate or wage war. The alien leaders, however, remained skeptical. The presence of the warship, its power undeniable, made it hard to fully trust humanity's words. In the end, the meeting ended with no clear solution. The galaxy's leaders did not trust the humans, but they knew they could not simply ignore them. The warship had already shown its strength, and the aliens knew that they could not take the risk of provoking it. As the alien delegation left Earth's atmosphere, their minds were filled with uncertainty. Humanity's arrival had shaken the foundation of the galaxy. Their power was real, and it could no longer be dismissed as a threat. The galaxy was no longer in control. The question remained, what would humanity do with their newfound strength, and how would the galaxy respond? The humans had made it clear that they sought peace, but the fear they had inspired could not easily be erased. The galaxy would never be the same. Days passed after the diplomatic meeting, and the galaxy was still in turmoil. The humans had spoken of peace, but the fear they had sparked would not fade easily. The leaders of the galaxy's strongest species gathered in secret once more. Meeting was tense. The silence between the leaders was thick, heavy with unspoken words and concerns. The question on everyone's mind was the same. What now? The warship, still orbiting Earth, remained a constant reminder of the unknown. It was silent, unmoving, but its presence hung like a storm cloud over the galaxy. Some species began to demand action, calling for immediate strikes against Earth to show the humans their place. But others argued that such an attack could lead to an all-out war, one that none of them could win. The humans had shown that they were more powerful than anyone had imagined. One leader, a tall alien with glowing blue eyes, stood and addressed the council. "The warship's power is undeniable," he said. "But we cannot allow ourselves to be ruled by fear. We must take action before it's too late. If we wait, we risk everything." Another leader, a creature made of liquid metal, responded, "But attacking them could be our greatest mistake. What if they are not as aggressive as we fear? What if they only wish to protect their planet? We cannot destroy them without knowing their true intentions." The debate raged on for hours, but there was no consensus. Some leaders called for sending more diplomats to Earth, hoping that more talks would help ease the tension. Others argued for a stronger military presence ready to strike at a moment's notice. But as the discussions continued, one thing became clear. Humanity was no longer a small, insignificant species. They were a force to be reckoned with. The galaxy would have to adapt to that new reality. Meanwhile, on Earth, the humans were focused on something else. Captain Lauren Taylor, who had led the diplomatic mission to meet with the aliens, was speaking with her superiors about the next steps. They had shown the aliens that humanity had no intention of waging war, but they knew that it wasn't enough. The galaxy was full of power-hungry species, and some would not be so quick to trust humanity's words. "We need to show them," Captain Taylor said, her voice firm, "that we can be allies, not enemies. If we don't take the first step, they will continue to see us as a threat," her team agreed. They knew the warship's power was unmatched, but they also knew it was not enough to guarantee peace. Humanity's strength was in its ability to adapt, to survive, and to find solutions where others could not. They could not wait for the galaxy to come to them. They had to make the first move. A decision was made. The warship would stay in orbit, but its presence would no longer be a symbol of fear. Instead, it would become a symbol of peace, a reminder that humanity was ready to join the galaxy, not as conquerors, but as equals. The decision was risky, but humanity had always taken risks. They had fought wars, survived chaos, and now they had to prove that they could use their power for the greater good. The mission was clear. Humanity would offer its help to the galaxy, but only if the alien species were willing to accept them. They would no longer be outsiders, but a part of the larger community of stars, as the human team prepared for the next stage. A message was sent to the galactic leaders. It was simple and direct. "We are here to help. We seek peace." we ask. For the opportunity to prove that we can be more than just a weapon. Back in the council chambers, the alien leaders received the message with mixed feelings. Some were skeptical, others hopeful. The warship had done what no one else could. Do it had made the galaxy's most powerful species question everything. But could humanity really be trusted? Could they join the galaxy as equals? Or would they one day turn their weapons on their new allies? One leader, a large insectoid creature with 1,000 eyes, spoke up. We must approach this carefully. If we act in haste, we may regret it. But if we do nothing, we risk giving them too much power. The galaxy's future is at stake. The debate continued, but there was one undeniable truth. The galaxy could no longer ignore humanity. Whether they saw them as a threat or as an ally, humans were now a central part of the galaxy's future. The decision to either accept or oppose humanity would shape the galaxy for generations to come. As the council meeting came to an end, one question lingered in the minds of all who were present. What would humanity do next? And more importantly, what would the galaxy choose? The decision was made. After much debate, the galaxy's leaders agreed to give humanity a chance. The council called for a temporary ceasefire and invited Earth's leaders to a new meeting, one that would decide the future of the galaxy. Humanity, once seen as a minor player in the great struggle of the stars, had proven its power. Now, it was time to see if they could prove their intentions. The meeting took place in a neutral space station, one far from any planet where all species could gather without the pressure of home turf. The alien leaders, their representatives, human diplomats, gathered in a grand hall that was built to accommodate the many different species. The room was filled with a sense of anticipation. For the first time, all eyes were on the humans. Could they live up to their words of peace? Or would their power prove too tempting for their own good? Captain Lauren Taylor stood at the front of the room, her team of diplomats by her side. She had worked tirelessly to get to this point, but she knew that this meeting would determine everything. She couldn't afford to fail. Stakes were too high. We understand that the galaxy is uncertain about us, Captain Taylor began, her voice steady and confident. We've shown you our power, but we want to make it clear that power is not meant for conquest. We are not here to destroy or dominate. We are here to protect our home and offer our help. We ask for your trust, and in return, we offer peace. The alien leaders listened intently. Some of them were still skeptical, unsure if they could truly trust the humans. The fear that had settled in their hearts during the warship's arrival had not fully disappeared. But as they looked at the humans, they saw no aggression, only sincerity. They had come to this meeting not with weapons drawn, but with open hands, ready to share their knowledge and resources. One leader, a giant with glowing green skin, spoke first. We've seen the power of your warship. We've witnessed your strength. But we also know that power can corrupt. The galaxy has suffered from the rise of tyrants before. What makes you different from the others? Captain Taylor nodded, understanding the question. We know that power can corrupt, she replied. But we've learned from our past. We're not a perfect species. We've made mistakes, but we are growing. We've learned that strength is not just about fighting. It's about knowing when to stand down, when to offer help, and when to protect what matters. Another leader, a creature made of swirling blue energy, stepped forward. You speak of peace, but how can we trust that you will not turn on us? How can we be sure that your warship won't one day be used to conquer us instead of protecting your own home? Captain Taylor's eyes met the leaders, and her expression was calm but firm. You have my word. Humanity seeks peace. We've seen what war can do, fought among ourselves, and we know that destruction only leads to more pain. But we also know that when you stand united, you can overcome anything. We are ready to stand with you, not as conquerors, but as allies. There was a long pause as the alien leaders exchanged glances. The tension in the room was thick, but it was clear that the humans were genuine. They had come with nothing but an offer of peace, and their strength was not used to intimidate, but to protect. It was a difficult concept for some of the alien leaders to grasp. They had never known a species with such power who wasn't driven by the desire to control others. Finally, the leader with glowing green skin spoke again. If what you say is true, then you will be the first species in the galaxy to offer something different. We have seen many conquerors rise and fall, but perhaps, just perhaps, you are different. The council remained silent as the leader's words hung in the air. This was the moment of truth. Would humanity's offer of peace be accepted, or would fear and suspicion continue to rule the galaxy? After a tense moment, the largest of the council members, a being with countless arms and a body that seemed to shimmer with 1,000 colors, finally spoke. We will give you a chance, humans. Your actions will speak louder than your words, but know this. If you betray our trust, the consequences will be unimaginable. Captain Taylor nodded. We understand. We will prove our intentions. Not with words, but with actions. We are ready to work together to help make the galaxy a better place for all species. And with that, the council made its decision. Humanity was given a place at the table. The warship, still hovering above Earth, was no longer a symbol of fear, but a reminder of the human strength and resolve. The future was uncertain. But one thing was clear, humanity had earned its place in the galaxy. As the meeting came to a close, the leaders from both sides began to speak of cooperation. In mutual respect, the fear that had once gripped the galaxy began to slowly fade. The humans had shown that they could be trusted. They had proven that their power was not just for destruction, but for protection and peace. The galaxy would never be the same again. Humanity had arrived, not with an army of conquerors, but with a promise of peace. And though the future was uncertain, one thing was certain. The galaxy's balance had shifted. Humanity was no longer the underdog. They had become a force to be reckoned with, but more importantly, they had proven that strength could be used for good.